Good afternoon back to me again. Coming in your platform, this virtual platform, and sharing my ideas related to English language teaching for the preparation of TS examination. Namaste everyone. Please, for this day again, I hope for your active participation and cooperation. As long as that we have the class for an hour. So, may I begin? Once again, myself, Shreeram Sharma. I'm English teacher, simply a lecturer of article Banubhakti as well, and permanent English teacher of secondary level. So, in reference to my experience, I am sharing the ideas because I have been teaching this ELT English language teaching of master level as well for many years. I'm sharing the ideas of subjective examinations, second paper for TSC examination. All right, and particularly, specifically, we went through the reading skill. And yesterday, my topic was very simple. What's reading skill? What are the soft skills? What is reading skill? How do we present reading skill? And I went with problems and some solutions as well. Some problems of reading skill. What are the difficulty levels? At what time, at what places are we puzzled while dealing with reading skill? And how do we solve them? That were the questions. General type of questions we discussed yesterday. And today again, we'll continue reading and we'll finish the matters that are to be taught in reading. Then after we shall take, I have prepared one test as well. I think the test will be administered tomorrow, and we'll go with particular question items that can be asked in examination. So any problems, any questions, sir? It is better to use board than slides, sir. All right, this is what I'm planning as well. I'm planning. I will have to use board as well, but I have not got board in my room, and not I have done it. So I'll have to prepare for that, and I will use slides, sir. And madam, you can take a snapshot, and we'll have a very abundant very good discussion, very profound discussion, so that we will understand it. And if needed, now I will type and make you understand.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, yes, Kaviraj sir, you can go on.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sir, have you published your book as well as like the teaching license?
Not yet, sir, not yet. But book not yet, because Raju Sresh sir is my colleague.
Yes, sir.
He is my very good friend, because we are both from Nalprasi, and so I have been using his book as well. I've been using his book. I have not published so far, but I have been taking for many years. Any problem? Just you can ask your queries. Otherwise, I will start with the class that I am supposed to teach today. All right. Yes. Dear students and fellow teachers, very first we have very common type of questions. How do you teach reading skill? What are the strategy of teaching reading skill? And what techniques do you apply in teaching reading skill? So some common questions. Some common questions. How do you teach? This is a very common question. Next question is, what are the strategies applied in strategies? Okay, these are the questions. How do you teach? This is a very common type question because we have already talked about 5 aspects of language teaching, and how question how talks about the methodology talks about the activities that you apply, and very specifically my idea is how you just have to go through the teaching learning activities. That's what we make in lesson planning. Under lesson planning there is a teaching learning activities. Yes, and that teaching learning activity is the idea of how, and there we have to mention along with uh, this techniques. So how do you teach reading a skill? What are the things to be applied in reading a skill? This is the major concern for today. So and we people are often asked the activities and techniques. What are the activities and techniques to be applied in teaching reading a skill? So you write the background, no doubt. The first idea is writing background. What is reading a skill? Reading is the process of extracting the information and understanding the text. Two things. One side is extracting information, yes, from the given text and understanding it. Because right after understanding, there is a response as well, making quick responses. Reading is somehow active process in the sense that we need to do the very quick process, quick. For example, somewhere there is a push and pull there at the door slide, and right when you see the push, then you push it because there is you need quick response like that. So by reading, we do the reading is this quick response is followed by the reading. This is what we need to understand. So how do you teach reading a skill? If somebody asks questions, then what is to be mentioned? So I'm not using the board, but I'm going with you. Don't worry, because it's, I have something that I have already prepared, and I have something that I'm going with you. So so feel comfortable.
Excuse me, sir. I am
Yes,
teaching English career, sir. You need to.
I will teach, madam. I will teach all, but as Ramesh sir has requested me to go through reading skill first, so I'm going with reading skill, and reading skill is the common questions. I will go with all units and all requirements that is to be taught. These are the beginning days. So let me go with reading skill first, madam, because if I skip one unit, then if I go to the next unit, then it will be mismatching. Am I right?
Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
Like because we just started reading skill and we leave that and we go to the literature section, we go to the language function section, then it won't be relevant, I think. I will go with all. I will discuss with uh, all units given in the that syllabus contents of Teacher Service Commission. That second paper. I will go with them. So only going through the content is not enough, madam. So we have to see the particular item very intensively, very deeply. So how do you teach? Now, one thing, dear teachers and dear fellow teachers and let's say students, that very important thing is this time all the reading items methodology is communicative, no doubt, interactive. The methodology is interactive. There are different things that we have mentioned. Now the teaching strategy is very activity based. Is activity based. So the more activities that you mention, the more chances that you will get for getting marks. So remember that how do you teach reading a skill? Then keep it in your mind that we have to mention some activities to be under that. But particularly, how do you teach this question? How do you teach? Question particularly, then you have to go with these three items. They are the three teaching principle. Engage, study, and activate. So uh, so of paragraph of background. This is what you need to mention. Second thing is you have to mention teaching, learning activities with language principle, language teaching principle. With language teaching principle, language teaching principles. There are three language teaching principle: ESA, engage, study, and activate. Everyone. So let's come. What happens in engage? Let's discuss with that. On in engage, we'll talk about simply presenting. Under presenting one thing, and remember that please. I'm questioning. And after giving tax. Okay. Now let us discuss. What do you think about presenting? Presentation of items. What is to be taught? For example, under engage. How do you teach? You have to mention with engage, study, and activate, and along with you have to make a very blending ideas, mixed ideas, because nothing should be left. Nothing should be left. So in the presentation of items, you simply simply let them know about reading skill, and you simply let them with the reading tasks. For example, text is presented. What is presented? Text is presented, and we make a questions. So we simply make a very signpost question. This is what we'll tackle today as well. We'll talk about signpost question. We'll talk about some theoretical background of reading skill today, and we finish it. And I will show you 2-3 questions answers tomorrow, ready-made question answers, and with one test tomorrow. And then reading is finished. Then we'll go to the content that you have taught. So it will take 3 days for taking reading skill, one skill. Presenting questionings. Under questionings, we make several questions items like signpost questions. What is the text about? Wow, this kind of things. And we can give the tax, giving tax. This comes under the engage. And let us see study. Under study, reading, this is the second thing. And thinking, hearing, and making worksheet. This is what comes under study. This is engage study, and this idea is common to all. Remember that, dear teachers and fellow students. This engage study and activate. This idea, how do you teach? In case of how do you teach, just follow that. How do you teach? Engage study and activate. And if you follow this ESA technique in lesson planning also, it will be very nice, because you will have a very good discussion on teaching learning activities. And this if you make that, then the lesson planning will be as long as 2 pages or 3 pages. Very big. Yes. And final one is activate. What thing comes under? These are the points, and under that points you have to discuss. For example, reading. Means very first thing is reading. Means you can make a 1 point also, or you can explain the reading. And thinking, because this is a study part, because the student let them teacher let the student read and study the items, question items, and text. Sharing, they discuss in a peer or group. This is called sharing. And this think, peer, and share. And making worksheet, and they simply make a points, notes. And this is what we call making worksheet. And we'll give the model of that worksheet as well. And under activate, this is taking. And feedback giving. And after concluding. These are the 3 things that you have to mention. And in case of how do you teach, beside teaching learning activities, then just in the background, at the background, or after that, we can talk about the strategies as well. So then these are the things to be discussed in how do you teach. In the same way, we can. What are the strategies? The strategies. If this question is there, or techniques. What are the strategy or techniques? This thing, then you have to go with pre-reading, while reading, post-reading. Pre-reading, reading. So strategy and technique of teaching reading skill. What are the strategies to be applied in pre-reading tasks, while reading tasks, and post-reading? These are the techniques. And how do you mix the question of how, then uh, then you have to see the weight, mark weight is. If it is a long question, then just do like that. Short question, do like that. So um, how much you need to write is it depends on the weight is. Okay, and there in the start is, for example, there in the giving, I know, making worksheet, then you just make a table. That will be a good presentation also. So you have to mix the presentation as well, and you have to make. Uh, don't do annotation, Soren madam. So let me go from the slide. So wait.
Slideshow, sir.
Yes. So how do you teach? When the question comes, then a paragraph about background. Let's talk about the strategies, a little teaching learning activities with language teaching principles. This thing you have to go basically in case of how do you teach. So, what are the intelligent techniques to be applied? Pre-reading, while reading, post-reading, and under pre-reading. Let us go with that. Okay, so I want you all to discuss, to write some activities under pre-reading. What do you think? Please write one, two activities under pre-reading. We got more time. Just we have to finish today reading, so that we'll take a test, and you will get the 2-3 models of question answers. A complete one. Sorry, madam. For example, this is not complete answer of that, and you will get the complete answer of some 2-3 question items that is to be asked in uh, reading scale. And one test I will take right after I come tomorrow, and then after I will go with 1-2 question items, and so that you will get a sufficient ideas related with the reading, and we'll go with the next scale. I have remembered to take short scale. Okay. All right. Can you discuss with pre-reading? Let us see. Yeah. And yes, Sangeeta Adhikari, madam, I have seen you here. Is it okay if you read this slide?
Okay, sir. Pre-reading stage ranges from background discussion, seeing the picture, title, and author, to the brainstorming about the content, plot, or characters of the text.
Yes. Pre-reading stage ranges from the background discussion, seeing the pictures, because uh, reading item becomes very fruitful, very beautiful with the picture items, because there is a, if the picture is attached with that, then it becomes nice. Title discussion. Title discussion is very important. Title discussion. Author to the brainstorming. So again, the question is, whenever you talk about the pre-reading stage, just you explain them. It's not a good idea in TSC examination. Again, the next idea is, while giving pre-reading, if you are taking the test of lower secondary level, then mention one lesson of lower secondary level. Mention one lesson topic of class 8. And if you are taking examination of secondary level, mention one topic of class 10. That will be fine. That will be very nice. For example, the text brought from that, and the discussion is like that. Okay. The title discussion, this kind of discussion. For example, by discussion can be made with the questions. For example, elephant is there. Have you ever seen elephant? Yes. How many times have you written? Like that, we make in primary level. In the same way, in higher level, we make it. So author, we have to discuss with the author, where he is from, whether he is Nepali author. For example, there is one poem in class 11. Corona says, it's written by Nepali poet Vishnu Singh Rai. So we have to talk about that. So title, author to the brainstorming about the content. Brainstorming. I told you about the brainstorming. Brainstorming might start with a quotation. And might start with just like yesterday I asked you questions. What am I? Yes. In the same way, brainstorming about the content, plot, and characters of the text. We can think about that. This is what comes on the pre-reading stage. Let's go to the while reading stage. We don't have more time, so let me go. While reading stage encompasses answering questions, matching, filling up gaps, picking up the meaning of the vocabularies. Answering questions, very important thing. So all the items to be done in the while reading, because this pre-reading, while reading, and post-reading, pre-teaching, while teaching, and post-teaching, these are the strategies of all skills, sir and madam. So while reading, while teaching stage, you have to say about the answering the questions, matching, filling up the gaps, true, false. Yes. Picking up meaning of the vocabularies. These are the things to be discussed on the while reading stage. And so now let us go with post reading. Post reading stage includes summarizing. Look at that. Role play, discussion. Role play means role play and simulation. Yes, we'll talk about simulation. What is that, and what is the difference between role play and simulation later on? And discussing, debating about the content of the text, assimilation, etc. This happens. So post-reading stage includes the summarizing, role play, discussing, debating about the content of the text, and assimilation. And here we have a model. Look at that. Now, yes, this is the example. For example, Ganesh Man Singh, the Iron Man. This is the reading text taken from class 8. So we can talk about a lot of things. We can talk about pre-reading, while reading, post-teaching activities. So mention the activities. This is also, you have to talk about activities, techniques, and strategies. Let's talk about pre, while, and post. Only in case of how do you teach, write about teaching learning activities. How do you teach? But don't forget to include a little about pre, while, post also in while. How do you teach? But strategies, techniques, and then after activities. Then you have to mention pre, while, and post. Remember that. So Ganesh Man Singh, the Iron Man. Everyone knows this text, and we have a lot of discussion. We can discuss with the picture. We can discuss with the picture. We can talk about the Nepal's politics, how good it is or how bad it is. We can ask the views of the learners. So this is what we have to write theoretically, because our examination is written examination. We have to write them. Ganesh Man Singh. Just give the example. Take the example of one lesson, and then after you write the answers, picking up that same ideas from the same lesson. Okay, so let me go to the next. Now you take do the screenshot, sir and madam, because Ganesh Man Singh is the topic, and what are the different stages on the pre-reading stage. This is what you have to mention in Teacher Service Commission. If someone, what are the strategies? What is the difference between you and other? Other will simply put the ideas of pre-reading, while reading, and so and so activities done in pre-reading, so and so activities will be done in the while reading, and so activities are done in the post-reading. Everyone writes that, but your idea must be different. That you will pick one lesson, and you have to give example from the lesson reading. You mention all them, but later on you mention this one, and you can make a table as well, presentation, this kind of table. So make the idea very beautiful. Example is must. Illustration is must. Pre-reading stage showing picture of Ganesh Singh, background information talking about the unfamiliar word. This unfamiliar word also example. Example we have to give. What are the, for example, at least one lesson you can read. You know, I would like to tell you my experience in Teacher Service Commission. I attended in 2071, and I told you already that I passed all 3 levels at the same time, but I was selected luckily in secondary level. Secondary level, one question was there. Sir and madam, are you listening to me? How do you teach poetry in secondary level? This is the question that I still remember. How do you teach poetry? And what I did, what I did, I simply wrote a little background. Then after I took the one, I remembered one, I memorized one poem. I think at that time by Rabindranath Tagore, where the rainbow is, where the mind is without fear. I think I remember. Where the mind is without fear. This is the one poem that I remember. I remember by heart. Then I mentioned all the poem. Exactly. All the poem. I wrote that first. There on the copy. And I had just, I think 7 or 8 minute time. This is the last question that I attempted. And within 7 minute time, I wrote a little about the background. I wrote the full poem. Then after I started pre-reading while reading post teaching activities of the particular poem. Then so that I picked up the vocabularies in pre-reading. This is what I discussed with Rabindranath Tagore, background of Rabindranath Tagore. He's an Indian poet, you know very well, Nobel Prize winner poet, and Rabindranath Tagore. And I discussed about that. I just gave the full example, and that might be the reason. So everybody teaches, everybody writes, oh, teaching poetry is so and so, teaching is related with literature. I'm reading, we do so and so while reading, post reading. Then this is a very common answer. Your answer must be different so that you mention one poem. Sorry, madam. So part of the poem, the poem in class one poem. All it is. You can memorize. That will be a fine idea. This is the pre-reading, while reading, and post-reading. This is pre-reading of the poetry also can be done. Pre-reading of the poet, because reading is for all, not only literature item, but also not only language item, but also literature item too. So brainstorming, signpost, loud reading, giving the title to the paragraph, scanning, skimming. This is very important. Scanning and skimming done in the while reading stage. Remember, sir and madam. Scanning and skimming, and question answer, filling up this thing. And post reading stage. What thing come under the post reading stage? Summarizing, role play, parallel text, debating, assimilation, critical thinking, and discussing. This thing come under the, I have already requested you for question construction, not necessary now. Now reading is a productive skill. If somebody wants you to elucidate it, remember that the item that is given in the syllabus content, if there is reading skill, then it's finished. It's over, because many items not with syllabus related. Sometimes if there is one item a little about literature, then question of literature might come from anywhere else. So reading is a productive skill. Dear sir and madam, I'm just taking the classes of Ramesh sir temporarily and for few days. Then if I'm assigned for all days, then I will go with all contents and we'll make a plan. And one idea I think it's better is we take 6 days online, 1 day physical. That is a very fine idea, because at least you will come to the institute. This is my just suggestion. Okay, I'm not sure because I'm just part of union education, and you might be from very far. and just
Yeah, we are from. Sorry, sir. Sorry to disturb you. We are from far. We are living away from there, sir.
yeah, that might be the problem.
Yes, it
So
would be not. It would not be possible, sir.
uh, we have to take a survey. How many of participants are from where? We have to take that. That might be the better idea. And just but how to make this kind of virtual class very effective? This is very important thing, sir and madam. Just if I mention all, if I write all question answers and if I present it, and if you just at least get the my idea, then that will be a model for you, because you will get the model from the text, from the that teacher service book you will get, but you will get further model. This is a very good idea. So reading is a productive skill because it is a active mental process. No need to talk. Just we have a many items to be discussed today, because tomorrow I will take, right after I come, I will take a test. Okay, from Google form. So uh, so we have to prepare. We have to finish and for today. Reading is not a passive skill. It involves active effort on the part of active. We have to talk about the active. There lies a covert interaction between the reader and the text in order to understand, retrieve the information. Active mental process happens while decoding the language symbols. Please take a screenshot. It is often called the activity dominated by the eyes and the brain. At the same time, reading provokes responses. Very important thing. Reading provokes responses, sir and madam. I told you example of pull and push, in and out, then right and left, diversion. There are at the roadside, sometime in construction place, diversion. Then we move, we do the response according to the reading, by reading. So, so this is called reading provokes responses. Remember that. First, the readers read and does the works as suggested in the text, like menu. Menu. Whenever we get the menu, example of menu, then we order for tea and coffee by looking at the menu. Rules, recipe, and instructions. Okay. There are two main approaches of reading: signpost approach and thematic approach. By the name, it is clear: signpost approach and thematic approach of reading. Two way of reading. Because if we talk about the signpost approach of reading, and if we talk about thematic, theme means theme concerned, signpost means direction concerned. Okay, let us see what is signpost. The theoretical assumptions that guide the reading comprehension on the basis of pre-reading tasks is called signpost approach. Pre-reading tasks. The signpost thing is done in the pre-reading. Remember, sir and madam. The task consists of questions related to the text that follows. It functions like a signpost that guides a traveler to choose the correct path. Signpost, just like a traveler to choose the correct path. On the other hand, thematic approach refers to the nature of information derives from organization of the word, order, and sentence in the text. It involves the skill of understanding and relation between the parts of the text. Okay, this is all about the signpost and thematic approach. I will give you example over here. This is called signpost approach. You look at this just like a signpost, and in the examination also you can give this kind of, you can make a picture of this. Whenever signpost approach comes in the examination, what are two approaches of teaching reading, signpost and thematic approach? Then just give the exam picture also. Make a picture. You can make. Please try drawing. So to make the paper beautiful. Okay. Now look at signpost approach. One, we just give the example of acoustic crow. What are the signpost questions? We can make several SPQs. SPQs means signpost questions. How did the crow feel thirsty? What is the motive of the crow? Why didn't he give up hope? What factors provoked him to drink water at the bottom of the jar? Right? So this thing are the signpost questions. The questions that we read. If you are teaching class 6, 7, 8, then you can see some few questions before the text. Yes. So these are the called signpost questions, SPQs. And this is a new technique, sir and madam. Signpost approach is a new technique of teaching reading skill. And this is what, if a long question comes, then you can talk about signpost and thematic approach as well. Expression varies according to the choice of the writer. This is thematic approach. Look at that. Expression. The theme is the same. You see, I have written 5 sentences over here, and all that means same. This is the main theme is not changed, and expression is different. No problem. I cross the road. It is the road that I cross. This road I crossed. This road was crossed by me, and what I did was I crossed the road. Right. This is called thematic approach. Means theme is not changed in reading. What I crossed was the road, was this road. There are 6 items. Okay. You understand about thematic approach? Okay. A silent, a loud, and rapid reading. By the title, it is clear. Also, Khatri sir, can you read, please? Very fast.
Sure, sir. Silent, loud, and rapid reading. The high level of reading where mind becomes active for receiving information without making any verbal sound is called silent reading. In contrast, the act of making sounds by recognizing the written or printed symbols is called loud reading. Similarly, rapid reading is race reading in which the reader reads the text very fast to grasp the information.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
And then, according to the label, silent reading is for higher level or lower level? What do you think, sir?
It's for higher level, sir.
Yes, obviously, it's for higher level. Yes, that's good. And loud reading, and rapid reading. Rapid reading is also for higher level. But loud reading is because loud reading
For primary.
incorporates pronunciation skill in loud reading. So it's for primary level, loud reading. So these are the types of reading. What are the types of reading? Silent, loud, and rapid. This is the first type. Okay. So types of reading. We are discussing with types of reading. Take a screenshot of that. And very, very important. This is often asked in examination. Intensive reading and extensive. Intensive versus intensive means very deep. Sir and madam. Intensive means very deep. Extensive is the surface one. But intensive means, for example, reading for the examination, TSC preparation. This is a deep reading because you are preparing for first paper. You see how vast. I'm very much afraid of first paper. It's not easy because Lok Seva is like exactly even more difficult than Lok Seva, I think, nowadays in TSC examination. So what is the difference between Lok Seva and TSC? TSC, Lok Seva, once they pass Lok Seva, they just sit on the chair and they pass the whole age. But teacher service commission, once we pass a teacher service commission, we have to work very hard. So difficult. This is a really service oriented profession, I think. This teacher service provision, teaching service commission is really service oriented. The act of receiving detailed information, sir and madam, detailed information from the text by reading deeply is called intensive reading. Intensive means very detailed. Reading for examination, it is mainly aimed for understanding the text along with the comprehensive questions and vocabulary. In contrast, extensive reading, just surface reading, that is fast in speed to gain general understanding of the text. Reading for pleasure or fun is example of extensive reading. Only for pleasure and fun. Extensive reading is only for pleasure. Remember that. For example, reading magazine, Kantipur, or something like that, weekly magazine. This is extensive reading. Intensive reading, TSC book, first paper, second paper. This is intensive reading, very deep reading. You have to give the example. Now let's come to the scanning and skimming. What is scanning and skimming? Drawing out specific information from the text that is concerned for the reader is called scanning. Scanning is just like filtering. Sorry, madam. Scanning is just like filtering. We draw out the specific information that we are looking for. For example, you are looking for, yes, it's given example is given. For an example, turning the page of newspaper and searching today's horoscope is the act of scanning, right? For example, you are belong to Mesh Rashi, and Mesh Rashi, then you immediately search the second paper or third page of Kanpipur, Mesh Rashi, Kam Banne. Then Kam Banne, then you feel very happy. Okay, today whatever I'm going to do throughout the day will be successful. So you feel like that. So we feel like that, not only you. Unlike scanning, skimming is reading quickly to get overall view in general from the text. What is the difference between scanning and skimming? It has to find the theme of the text by catching the main points by moving the eyes very fast. So I would like to give you one question. Reading the headlines of the newspaper, is it the example of scanning or skimming? Sorry, madam.
Scanning.
Reading the headlines,
Scanning, sir.
Scanning, sir.
not scanning. Reading the headlines very fast, one headline, next headline, next headline, next headline. What happens? What happened? What happened? For example, yes, what happened in the sport? What happened in the politics? What happened in the national, in the economy? Like that. This is skimming. But reading what you are sourcing. For example, you are going to read. For example, you want to understand about this. Congress General Assembly and this party, then you try to go to the what the this politics sector of Nepal's high, then you will go to that section. What happens in the election? Yes. Which panel is going to win? You are going to see that. Yes. A national convention of the Nepali Congress. This is what you will go. So you source what you require for that. So this is called scanning. Skimming is different. Skimming is reading, what we call source, from top to bottom. You read the headlines from top to bottom, and you give the quick look, and you understand. Oh, these are the things happened today. When you finish Kantipur within 1 minute, you just reading topic. Then you understand. You make a mind, and you finish reading Kantipur. 10 pages, newspaper in a minute. This is called steaming. Today is okay. This is my contact number. You can have a talk with me as well, and I do have an email ID as well. This is my email ID. Okay, and let me do the revision. Scanning and skimming. I don't think you have a problem with that. This is one. What are the different types of reading? Intensive, extensive, scanning, skimming, silent, loud, rapid. These are the types of. That is the type of reading. So don't forget that. Intensive and extensive reading. Very deep reading is called intensive reading, and surface reading is called this extensive reading. Intensive versus extensive reading. Okay, sir and madam. And silent out and rapid reading is a very simple one. So you can understand this. And two approaches of reading: signpost approach and thematic. There are two approaches of reading. Remember that. Signpost approach of reading and thematic of approach of reading. And you can give the example as well. So my topic will be tomorrow. Just understand that very first I will come and take a test of of this reading item. I will make 10 or 15 questions related with the reading items, objective questions, sir and madam,
Yeah, yes,
because
sir.
we have to understand very deeply about the reading items. And the next thing is I will give you two model of complete question answers, so that you will get at least model what is to be written.
Yes, sir.
So that will be very fine, because taking this, attending early in the morning, it must be very beneficial.
It must be very fruitful, sir.
Yeah, it must be very fruitful. Just coming, getting up early in the morning at 4 past 4. It's a very sleeping time, and at that time you are getting up and you are worrying about TSC examination. And my best wishes to you all, that you will all get successful. And I'm trying my best to make my class very fruitful. Okay, as you have recommended to me to use the whiteboard, I'm also thinking of that. Very soon I will do that as well.
Thank you very
So,
much, sir.
so what is reading today? Today topic is a lot of things that we discussed today. This is the thing that we have. Okay, this one particularly, strategies, techniques, and activities as well. Even activities. What are the strategies, techniques, and activities? This we have to mention pre-reading, while reading, post-reading, and only mentioning these items not enough, sir and madam. I have told you my experience as well. I have told you, I have written everything in 7 minutes time. I still remember. At that time we were given only 3 hours, 3 hours this time as well, and 7 minutes time was there left at last, but I finished that one. See, how do you teach poetry? By writing all poetry as well, and even all activities to mention, pre-reading, while reading, and post-reading of that poetry, pre-teaching, while teaching, and post-teaching of that poetry. I discussed with examples. I mentioned the points. Even I mentioned in pre-reading, I can make a questions. Do you know about Rabindranath Tagore? Like that. Yes, this is the thing that I did it. That was my experience. So I know there are some teachers who say that you write the point, you write 1, 2, 3, 4 points, then it will be enough. Never. My idea is, my simple idea is just mention 3 things. You write paragraph, you write points, you write presentation. Never forget presentation. Either picture or table or let's say chart. Picture, table, or chart. 3 items should be mentioned in each question in subjective item, because that will make your answers very beautiful. And final one is conclusion. Conclusion you can write in point, very not a complete sentence also. Point, not a complete sentence. For example, this while reading, scanning, skimming. This is a single word, but it is enough. This is called in conclusion. And so a lot of things. So I will tomorrow you will get the model. Okay, I will see the question related that might be asked from the book, for TSC book, and I will give you the model. I will prepare for it and I will type that and I'll show you. So three things we'll do tomorrow. And today my question is some common question to be discussed. How do you teach reading skill? What are the strategies applied in teaching reading skill? What are the techniques teaching reading skill? Mention some activities. This is the common question. And how do you teach? How do you teach? Use 3 principles: engage, study, and activate. Sir and madam, this is my request. And for example, in presenting, just give the example. What thing under presenting? Questioning, giving task. How do you give task? While making lesson plan also, you can use this E-asset methodology. And how did it? This, what are the strategies? And this one, pre-reading, while reading, and post-reading stage. I just mentioned some points. And one example of this Goddess Singh, the Iron Man. If this text is given, reading text one, remember one text. Very important thing. For example, in interview, in primary level, I have worked a lot of times as a subject expert in primary level, lower secondary level, and secondary level many times, more than 100 times, I think, from the municipality level, Nagarpalika Bada. So at that time, I often ask in primary, do you know a poetry or a rhyme? Can you please sing one rhyme of class 2, 3, 4? I think. Then I often ask, Miss, what the teacher is supposed to do is they have to understand, if they are preparing for primary level, at least they have to remember one or two rhyme of 4 and 5, no problem. So very important thing is, related, specific information is needed, not general idea. Showing picture of Ganesh Man Singh. This main topic is pre-reading, while reading, post-reading today. Remember, sir and madam, I have given you the ideas about that very fast. Question not necessary. Reading as a productive skill. Sometimes you are asked to elucidate it. At that time, you have to understand why is reading a productive skill. There are 3 reasons. One, active process. In the sense of active process, it is productive. In the sense of very active, dominated by eyes and brain. The next is a covert interaction. There is a communication between the reader and the text. Communication happens between the reader and text. And next is reading provokes actions. Reading causes the action. Yes, reading is followed by the action. This is very important thing. Don't forget. And so this, in that sense, reading is a productive skill. We talked about signpost and thematic approach, and I gave you example of one thirsty crow. What are the signpost questions of thirsty crow? What are the signpost questions of thirsty crow? And thematic approach, I gave you example of some questions, and the theme is same. We'll talk about form and function relationship later on. And this is a form and function relationship. You see, 6 forms are there, but function is same. This is a thematic approach. Silent, loud, and rapid reading, and in intensive and extensive reading. Okay, scanning and skimming. Now you understand what is scanning and skimming, sir and madam? Any problem?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Thank you very much. Scanning means, going, just give the example of, Rashifal. Okay, horoscope. Just we sort the horoscope very fast at a first glance. That is scanning. We sort what we are intending to sort, what we are looking forward to sort. This is called scanning. Skimming is different. Skimming is going through the line, top to bottom. Okay. I must say thank you to you all. And so thank you very much. So let me stop screen sharing. Tomorrow, I have already told you 2 model set you will get, 2 model set, 2 questions model set you'll get, and one item of from reading, not from other. Remember, sir and madam. And one this I will show you. I will take the examination test, a little test, very simple from the reading, whether you have understood reading or not. And I will show you the marks also. Very interesting. So thank
Excuse
you very
me,
much.
sir.
Yes. You can share our ideas later on.
Okay, sir. For the for the topics, no matter you can use better you use better you use
Slide.
your yes, your slides. For the question answer, better you use the board, sir.
Yeah. What I'm thinking about that. Either if I don't have right now the board, I write on the copy, and either I will show you the photo of that copy, and or I will make a I will write a slide, but complete answers. It means it will be, or single question will have a lots of slides.
Okay.
So,
But you should take whiteboard, sir.
important thing is you have to get the ideas, yes or not? No matter which I will use or not. So
No, actually it's difficult to gain the knowledge, and it's actually lack of time to question actually confuse the question, yeah, to ask to you actually what the problem is that.
if I mention you questions, and if I explain everything, for example, today I just gave you the point. How do you teach? Only gave the point, not a complete answer. But if I write a complete answer and show it, then you will at least you write it on your copy as well, and that will be a model for your examination. Yes, sir and madam. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for today and tomorrow. Please come right in the right time tomorrow. Namaste. Namaste.
Okay, bye, sir. Have a nice
Namaste,
day.
sir. Okay, bye.
For your participation. Please
Thank
read
you, sir.
reading
Thank you very
skill very
much.
well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
मैले बुझ्न. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dina ma'am.
हजुर.
Good morning. Good morning, class of good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, Kaviraj sir.
के छ कस्तो भइराछ? How about your study?
मेरो स्टडी त दामडोल भइरहेछ, बिदा भएकोदेखि मैले पढेको छैन.
Study dismiss.
हैन, अहिले चाहिँ के भन्छ म्यारिडको यो माहौलले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ म साथीको घरमा भएर मैले राम्रोसँग चाहिँ सुत्नु पाएन क्या, त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ एकदमै उ भइरहेछ, अलिक प्रेसर भइरहेछ कामको पनि, अनि अलिक बिजी.
Okay, understood.
साथीहरूको फ्रेन्डहरूसँग ग्यादरिङ पनि गरेको छ, मैले प्रिपेरेसन चाहिँ गरेको छैन है.
Try. Recently धेरै गर्दै पढेका छौँ कविराज सर.
हजुर.
बुझ्नलाई धेरै कोसिस गर्दै पढिराखेका छौँ.
राम्रो हो.
एकदम राम्रो.
नेपालीमा अलिअलि डिस्क्राइब नि छैन क्या, ठिकै छ, अब के गर्ने त, अब कोसिस गरौँला.
होइन एकदम अलि नेपालीमा भन्ने ठिक हो, तर सकेसम्म इङ्ग्लिसको लागि त इङ्ग्लिसमै राम्रो हो मिस है. अलि अप्ठ्यारो जस्तो लाग्छ, पछि बुझिन्छ.
हजुर.
अनि नेपालीमा के चाहिँ
बोर्डै छैन भन्नुभयो होइन?
त्यो बोर्ड चाहिँ एकदमै सकेसम्म चाहिँ के अभाइलेबल हुनुपर्छ कि, किनभने
गर्छु भन्नुभएको क्या भन्न त है.
तर सकेसम्म भोलि नै भएको भए राम्रो कि, अब भोलिदेखि स्टार्ट हो नि त.
भोलिदेखि स्टार्ट हो, सुरु.
Board is not available.
The teacher should be take to bring whiteboard anyhow.
Board is should be.
Quickly you can buy whiteboard.
बोर्ड चाहिँ हुनुपर्छ.
यस्तो हो, अब सजेसन लिँदाखेरि होइन,
हामीले पनि
त्यो प्रेजेन्टेसनमै अब ध्यान हुन्छ नि त, यति सकाउँ यति प्रेजेन्टेसन भनौँ भन्ने टाइम हुन्छ, अनि यो